Welcome, beautiful souls, to another episode of Sacred Highlands. Today we step into a truly sacred space, the Red Tent Circle. We are joined by Emma-Fleur, a beautiful facilitator who holds Red Tent Circles, creating a safe, nurturing place for women to come together, connect, and heal. Emma-Fleur, welcome to the podcast. We are so grateful to have you here.
Hello, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to land and settle into this space. So I'm very humbled and grateful and really looking forward to today's conversation.
Thank you very much for being here. Okay, let's begin with your personal journey. What caused you to start the Red Tent Circle? Was there a particular moment or experience that inspired you to step in this path?
Yes, so going back to when I was 11 years old and starting the journey into puberty, and the day of my first bleed, going up to my mum and showing her my underwear and going, has my bleed, my moon time arrived? And she was very matter of fact about it. Yes, This is it. Here's your sanitary wear. And I was like, is that it? Because I had this very sense of there's something really magical about to happen. And it's not just the physicalities of bleeding. There was something else stirring within me. So when that fire was sort of put out, that really showed me that maybe there wasn't something there to be celebrated and honoured. But deep down, I knew that there was. So fast forward, going to 2019, I attended a wonderful gathering with a mentor of mine, Alexandra Pope. And it was a wonderful gathering with a 3-day event with other women. And I thought, I'm home, because women are talking about the menstrual cycle, the menopause, perimenopause, and it was being celebrated, and just to put voice to that. So from that place, when lockdown came about, and I didn't know, I'd broken up from my partner and I moved location and I didn't know if I had a job. I had all this space and energy and time. And that's when I came across another lady that focuses on menstrual cycles. And I knew that I had to step into that and become a facilitator of Red Tents. So I trained online for about 7 or 8 months, and it wasn't an easy process for me, but I absolutely knew that had to take place in my community. So that was my stepping point of going, there's something missing in community and there's something missing in me. And from there, after my training, I took the bigger step of then facilitating my first Red Tent. So it was really this noticing that something had to be landing in my community, and also the opportunity to speak about these taboos. It tends to be blood, sex and death. These are the main sort of taboos I feel in our society. And here I am today. Yeah. Very good.
I totally agree. I think in Poland it was actually the same approach, like taboos. You wouldn't speak about those things at all, unfortunately. And yeah, I found it when I started coming to your circle. I found it like something that we were lack of, speaking about it out loud, acknowledging it, and yeah, with it, recognizing those, emotions going on during the menstrual cycle, actually realizing stuff about yourself, what is actually going on, and how to approach it, how to act on it, stuff like that. So amazing.
Yeah, because it is part of life.
One that women often fear because you can experience such a torrential pouring of emotion and physical pain, but it's a very powerful time in your cycle to actually tap into many, many different things. But it's how we do this. So that's where somebody like myself can play a part in that and facilitate how you drop into that space. And it's with the wisdom and the understanding of knowing what your body's doing and listening to that call to go inwards. If you can make the energy in the space really there.
It's funny because now I remember when I was going through the process and how hard it was for me to understand it. So, a gathering like that or gatherings like that, in my opinion, would help those young women, just getting the period and knowing what it is, what it looks like, how it's happening, that would help them with those emotions and actually, bring it into their life and making it even more precious, okay, it's a part of my life and it is what it is and how and where I go from it, you know what I mean, to make my life better, not more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. For those who may not know, what actually, if you could describe, Emma-Fleur, what those gatherings look like, and what does the space feel like, and what makes it different from other gatherings?
Okay, very good question, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that have not heard of the red tent movement and what it entails, and it can be quite a scary thing to maybe step into, because often in our society, like we just touched on, we don't give it space, or I don't have time for that, or how do I go about even creating that space in my life? So for a red tent circle, it's a very small gathering. That's how this is a template for me, is how I carry out. So it's a small, intimate gathering, and it may be 8 or 4 or less women come together in circle. And it's really an invitation to step in, slow down, and you're welcome to be exactly as you are. Mm-hmm. And I found for the 4 years that I've been holding red tent circles, that in itself is such a breath of fresh air for many women. Just to come and you don't have to do anything apart from turn up. I welcome you into this very peaceful space. I put a lot of consideration into that, and it's safely held as well. And what I mean in that is there's no expectations. You come as you need to be. You don't wear your mask. It's an invitation to share and speak. And as we go through the circle, the first thing that I'll do is welcome you, but also check in with you. So that's going to be a physical check-in, as in how your cycle is looking. Some women don't know that, so it might be just a case of going, how you're feeling. But with that, it's honesty there. So if I'm feeling really tired, that's welcome. I'm feeling really angry, that is welcome. I'm feeling really happy. Mm-hmm. It's really a space and a time for you to check in with yourself. And it's always an invitation to speak. It's never expected. It can be often overwhelming for women that have never sat in circle before, because there may be underlying trauma there may be underlying, I'm not good enough, I shouldn't be sat down. I don't even sit down for 2 minutes. How am I going to manage an hour and a half? So that's a good length of time. And that is it. It's an invitation to come and rest.
Mm-hmm. You make them stop.
Stop. And that can be a scary place, but I find that it's a very liberating space as well, and very empowering for many, many women. Some women come and it's not for them, and some women it's this regular practice of coming once a month and knowing I've got that in my diary. I don't have to be anything else. I can be me, whatever shape or form that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful thing. I absolutely believe and love the space that's created during Circle. And also it continues after that as well.
Yeah. I feel like I come here and cut myself off the whole world, and I go inwards. That's how I feel. And I suppose probably for some people, maybe they're not ready yet. Because maybe there's not the time to stop yet.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting there more and more. I think people and also women are realizing now that it's important to stop.
Yes.
Yes.
And to expand on that question a little bit, the practicalities. So it may look like I might do a meditation. I might integrate journaling. It may be more talking, but the emphasis is absolutely, it's an invitation to speak. And also the other thing is that I'm facilitating that each woman, and I make this very clear because it's really important for me that you're taking responsibility for yourself, because that is then connected to that journey, I feel, of becoming empowered. And that has its ripple effect with our partner, with our friends, with our workplaces. Because you can come, listen, gather, talk, learn really lovely skills, and then that's within. So wherever you go in your life, wherever you land, all you need to do is then tap into that. So you've got that toolkit with you all the time, and that's what I love about it.
So Emma, who are those gatherings like red tent circles for? Is it open to all women or at all stages of life?
Right, so the only prerequisite for coming to sit in a red tent circle is that you've had your first bleed. Because that's when you have your psyche matures and you're becoming a woman. And it's not really it's a lovely space, it's a beautiful space, but it's that really has to be in place because you don't know what's going to come up. Apart from that, you could have had stop bleeding. All ages are welcome, all backgrounds are welcome. Absolutely, it's inclusive to every woman. And that's what I like as well. It's a very diverse space. There's no, you're booking 10 sessions, you have to come for all of those. Absolutely not. Like I touched on before, some women will come, it's not as they expected, and then others, I love this regular practice. And really, for me, it's about I can play a part in a person's life, but that's what it is. I play a part in that. So, okay, that's basically what it looks like, and who it's for. And even though maybe you're not bleeding anymore, but we look towards the moon and we can look at her wisdom and we cycle with the moon as well. So it's not a necessary that you still have to be bleeding. I have women from all ages. I've held circles for very young women, which has been incredible because they tend to be not to be detrimental to old women. I mean, I'm 48, but younger women seem to be more clued up on this because the more mature women have set the path in motion and are talking about these things. So younger women, 18, 19, 15, 16, they're not so shy about talking about these things. And then I've had, I have mums that come along if they're, sort of past the very, very young age and they can maybe get some time off and their partner's looking after, and their child. I have ladies that are past menopause and they're like, oh my goodness, I'd never had this in my life. And now I can tap into that wonderful wisdom that I always thought was a bad thing, that was, not talked about or actually talked down upon. So yeah, all ages, all backgrounds, everything is, every woman is welcome, absolutely. Yeah, the inclusive and safe space.
And to me, it's so convenient that, don't sign a pact, let's say, that you have to come here so many times. If you don't feel up to it, you just don't come. Yes. If you feel like, okay, coming, and I feel like it's progressing. The more I come, the more I want to come, because I can see I've been noticing, how much it's been helping me. So yes, that's amazing. Okay, so we've got another question. Why are gatherings like that important in our communities today? And what role do they play in a world that often feels disconnected and rushed?
So it's this regular practice of coming together, particularly with women, that's, I feel, very empowering movement. And you're asking how they differ from
the other gatherings.
Yeah.
So what is important, in our why are gatherings like that important in our communities today? And what role do they play in a world that often feels disconnected?
Okay, so it's the physical practicalities of coming together. I've had several women that said, why don't you do it online? It can be done, and certainly during the lockdown, it was a great tool to tap into. I attended lots of gatherings online, a real lifeline. But for me, it is this face-to-face connection, to come in and, oh my goodness, how are you? And get that maybe just the simple act of, if you know and familiar with that woman, a hug. This simple, touch is just so fundamental.
Yes.
And it's this active, practical practice of being seen, heard, and witnessed in the flesh that does it for me every time. So that's a really important thing, absolutely. And how it plays a part in the past, and I still stand by this, I link it up and I sort of see the similarities between, it's like a heartbeat in our community. Okay, if we think of the heart, it's a constant beating. Okay, it's always there, but sometimes we don't notice. But that doesn't mean that it's not keeping you sustained. And I feel that's the same with coming into this circle. It's a constant, absolutely. And I feel it if I don't hold the space, because it's a two-way process. Even though I'm facilitating, I need this practice in my life. And I can really notice it when I don't have it, because I'm like, I haven't, had a hug, or I haven't been able to vocalize what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. Yes. So it's this practical sense of coming together and just being with other women. This sisterhood, and really giving it a sense of a beautiful connection. We're not competing against one another.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we are on a level playing field, if you like. It doesn't matter what you're earning, what you've experienced, where you're going in life. You know, none of that is important in here. And that's how I feel it differs. And it's having that honesty in this conversation, truthful, honest conversation.
Yes. Hearing other stories, I suppose, you know, from people, it's like makes you think, oh my God, I'm not that bad actually. You know, because then when people open, you realize that you're not on your own in here. Sometimes people, you know, the tendency of thinking, oh, it's only me, you know, that the badness is happening only to me. Why? But then when you actually meet with other people, you realize like, oh, I'm not alone in here.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think this is where the invitation to have truthful, honest conversations, because then you haven't got anything to hide behind.
Yes.
And it can be a very vulnerable place, but it's a very safe, for me, it's about being in a safe space.
Yes.
Number one, safe, because then you can drop anything that you don't need. You come into vulnerability, and there is great strength and courage in that vulnerability. Absolutely. Yeah.
And feeling yourself, you know, it's amazing. I have to say, we so often forget, like, it's so important to just be yourself, to be honest with yourself at first, and then with others, yes? And that's, I think, what teaches us in here, in your circles, honestly. And one more thing I wanted to highlight, in my opinion, the energy, because when you feel, everybody's an energy being. So when we come here, when you meet face to face, it's actually you can feel the energy, you know, whereas online you wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, I suppose maybe to some degree, yes, but it's actually, you can feel it.
There's the other thing about that as well, which reminds me, is that when you're caught up in your day-to-day life, so you two lovely ladies have very kindly come to where I hold red tents today in my home, and you've come away from your home life. So it doesn't matter what's going on. So I will ask, you know, we'll do a cycle check-in. How are you? Not how's your partner? How are you? How are you today? How are you being? And the other thing is that you're leaving all that behind. So it's that creating that physical, I can just drop into a space, you know, leave your luggage, leave your story at a door.
Exactly.
So it's coming together and you're leaving whatever, you know.
Yes.
You can pick it up later, or perhaps, you know, at the end of the evening, or you're like, well, that wasn't important. What am I doing? You know, sat on me wait. Or, do you know what, that can be a big cross out on my list. I don't need that. Yeah, so it's coming away as well.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Can we also touch on the benefits of joining together in Sacred Red Tent Circle on an emotional, spiritual, and even physical level? What shifts do you see, women?
Yeah, so I've mentioned a couple of times today that a regular practice. So, like, I'd probably come out with this all the time. People might get a little bit like, oh, she's coming out with that again. But it's like regular practice. If you're doing anything regularly, it becomes more familiar.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I can just say no, or I can say yes to things. So it's in this regular practice that I've seen women's stories change. They might come along and say, I've got to have this incredible, difficult conversation with somebody. So they can practice with their voice here, you know, about, okay, how's that making you feel maybe? What are you wanting to say? And because you're giving this opportunity, so when we sit in circle, I use a beautiful shell, and that is passed around. And I see the difference in women because they're like, I've got that space to think about what I'm going to say. Or maybe there isn't. They're just, you know, handed it straight away. But it's in that regular practice of coming that you're speaking words that maybe have just been rolling around in your head, but now you're getting a chance to be seen, heard, and witnessed. And that is an incredible, powerful thing. Incredible, powerful thing. And So it's that regular practice, and women that are coming, they're finding their voice more. They're being absolutely truthful about how they're feeling. Maybe they're making more space in their day-to-day lives. Mm-hmm. They're prioritizing themselves first. When I was growing up, that was not an option. That didn't come into it at all. Now, oh my goodness, I'm at the other end of the scale, still working on that, but it's a totally different ball game. So and emotionally you can connect when you've been practicing this sort of coming together in circle, as I hold. You tend to, there are maybe outpourings of if you're feeling particularly tired or maybe angry or upset or joyful. I've cried in circle. That's part of it. I don't like to use the word shame. I don't like that word too much because it's quite a crushing word. But I don't feel that I can't express myself emotionally. It's very much welcomed. And after women have been coming and practicing, they tend to not get so emotionally responsive. They are thinking about how they're going to respond. It's not a reaction. So definitely emotionally and being able to communicate clearly and listen, that's a massive, massive practice, which is highly underrated in my perspective. So you're learning how to communicate on different levels. Spiritually, it's a very inward practice. Again, if you're not giving yourself space to rest, how are you going to, on earth, go inside? Because you're so out there all the time.
Yeah.
So it's this regular practice where you can connect to your inner landscape and your heart landscape as well. So I see it particularly in women that's been coming a long time, the sort of the journey that they're taking. But then I don't get too attached to that relationship, as it were. I care for them, but it's then their time. Maybe they don't need to come anymore because they've, learnt what they've need to learn or practice what they need to learn, or just been held,
I think I'm one of the best examples here, because I've been coming to your circles since March or April, the latest this year, almost every month, what I remember. And the process I've gone through, absolutely amazing, especially going inwards. And that I repeated again with your questions asked. You're just like, oh my gosh, I've never thought of that. Why? Why did I never, consider that? Yes. And it's like discovering things that are deep in you, stored somewhere, and, some trauma, some mistakes, the things that I've realized about how important my mom is, how important my kids are, like extremely important in my life. And also, accepting the mistakes you've made, because we're just humans. And the thing that, okay, where do we go from here? As like, okay, it's a learning curve, yes? It's our lessons. So as long as you take the lessons and you don't repeat them in your life, you'll always get better. And that's the thing about it. Like you feel better, you feel more confident what you're doing, what you're going to do. And, the fact to, like the case when you have to accept your mistakes because you can't change them anymore. It's been, of course, in the past. As I think one of the most challenging things for a human to do, because we try not to face it. We're scared to face it. It's too painful. And it's usually about us, not about others. Yes, and when we see like somebody's or affecting us or triggers us in some way, it's usually us. Yes, there is something in us, and it's amazing to discover that. And thank you, Emma-Fleur, for that, because I've brought up so much, from inside me, and realized so much about me that it's like, meditation is one thing, and that's a lot. But again, there's some thoughts coming during the meditation, but it's like hard to sometimes ask, like somebody like you ask me questions, and I could never think, I could never realize that I should actually ask myself things like that. Yes, and with another thing with the regular coming in here, like being consistent, I think it comes with discipline as well, because sometimes what I've realized, even speaking with to other women in here, that sometimes we don't want to come because it's like, I'm not bothered, I'm so busy at home, I've got so much to do at home. But actually the discipline, and I'm like, no, I'm coming, I'm going there, okay? And then when you're sitting here, I was like, oh my God, thanks God, I came, because I feel like, again, it's my time. That's what we struggle with, in my opinion, to give us the time for ourselves. Yes, to sit, to be still, and to go inwards.
Yeah, you're not the first lady to acknowledge that and vocalize that to me. And I've had one lady I can think of, she's like, really didn't want to come tonight. And this is her being honest. Remember, we have the knowledge. She's not good, I've got a confession or anything like that. She's like, do you know what? I really don't want to come tonight, but I've landed and I am so happy.
Yes.
And then I might get another lady that has said they'll want to attend. They're poorly, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they have an honest conversation with me. They go, Emma-Fleur, I'm really poorly. What I'm going to do tonight, and this is a revelation, it might not sound it, I'm going to make the space, I'm going to sit by the fire, and I'm going to look after myself. And my reply to that is, well done, because you're caring for yourself. I'll see you next month.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well done. Yes.
And it's small acts that you make that space for yourself, and it's so wonderful. I love it. I love it.
To experience
It's just a little example.
Yes.
Yes, it's all very good.
Yes. Still with us? Wonderful. Just a gentle reminder, English isn't our first language, and now and then you might notice a few slips or imperfections in our conversation. If you're someone who appreciates authenticity over perfection, you're in the right place. Thank you for your patience and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Okay, we've got next question. Where do you draw inspiration for your monthly circles? And how do you decide on the themes or practices you share each time? And I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay. So I've always been fascinated and connected with Grandmother Moon.
Wow.
I remember maybe I was 3 or 4 years old, and I would take the binoculars and I would sit and just look at the moon. I didn't know why I was doing it, but she had this beautiful energy. So it's not till I'm, as I said, 2019, attending the in-person retreat, and then coming across Tanishka and Moon Woman. Thank you very much for your teachings, a wonderful mentor. I start learning about red tents, and I'm like, oh my goodness, because you're using this ancient wisdom of the moon. So how that looks like in my circles is that I'm not an astrologer, absolutely not, but I will tap into astrological readings. So that might be online, either through podcasts. I've got several books, and I will use that as a basis for each red tent. So each red tent I hold them at new moon. And I'm tapping into that energy of that astrological sign. So the last red tent I held was, we had a double new moon in Virgo. With Virgo, I'll tap into the earth, it's an earth sign, so that grounded energy, looking towards what is needing, the questions that are needing to be asked about us. So that's what I'm doing, and I hold them at new moon because that's generally the time where, seeds are planted and you're going into a very inward space. So full moon tends to be, we want to go out in the world, and we want to maybe be more sociable, we want to vocalize more, we've got more energy. Generally, I'm talking. So that's why I'm holding them at new moon, to go into that inner landscape. And it does tend to be a time, not for every woman, where you do, if you follow your cycle, you tend to bleed at new moon, but that's not how I've always bled. It can be in any point in the cycle. So that's what I'm tapping into, those teachings that are there, and that bigger push of energy to go inwards to ourselves. So that's important for me to do it. I might get somebody go, I can't make a Tuesday, I can't make a Wednesday. Well, I can't move things around, and obviously it depends what I'm doing. So it's really looking towards that energy that I'm using, and the absolutely beautiful ancient wisdom that's there. And today, as you came in, I said we're actually on a last quarter moon today, and I was born under a last quarter moon on a Monday, and it's like a time where I've got great empowerment to go inwards and reap seeds. It's such a wonderful thing. It's so vast and so knowledgeable. There's so much to talk about. So that's just a little snippet. Mm-hmm. And of course, I also use my own inner compass and my intuition as well within that. So I don't know if that answers the question.
Should we say that the astrology can be used as a guidance?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have been using astrology for years and years now. When the world is, wanting to grapple your attention, whether that's through mainstream media, things happening in your community, all outside of yourself. Mm-hmm. And that guidance, that wisdom keeps me a regular pace. That's why that's happening. That's why this is happening. Uh-huh. I'm not sure about that. Do I agree with that? And that's when I can check into my internal compass. Or it might actually not be present, and then a week or a month later I'll be going, oh my goodness, that's exactly why that took place. Mm-hmm. So it sort of gives you a heads up.
Yes. I have to say,
yeah.
Do you know why I found it so interesting when I actually discovered that you were using the astrology as well? Because beforehand I watched it was a series, actually, documentary, and it was called Ancient Apocalypse, and it's plenty episodes of it, and Hancock, I think the guy is called, his name, and he was explaining, because he was traveling around the world, and he was explaining how the old tribes were using actually the astrology. It was the people had an outstanding knowledge, wisdom. I was like, my gosh, you can, find out so many things and actually, be guided by it, And now we all completely, forgot about it because of the outside world, because how busy it is, because of the distraction, and of course the devices, media and stuff like that. And I wish we came back one day to where we were at the beginning, because it was all about the nature, all about the...
Well, we are, because otherwise we wouldn't be having this conversation, and you wouldn't be doing your podcasts. So to say sort of broadly, we're not doing it, that I don't feel that that's the case. Mm-hmm. We are.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's growing as momentum.
Yes.
And I find the more conversations I have, it's not that necessarily people aren't wanting to tap into this knowledge, or maybe then they're already doing it, but it's the vocalizing that I'm doing this. Because maybe I don't want to be seen as being, mad, poo-poo that's not important. So it's a funny thing, but it is growing in the midst. Because let's face it, truthfully, we have to be very selective about what we're reading, what we're watching, and what information we're taking in. Not to go off at a tangent, but if we can tap into these ancient, educational tools, if you like, that's been there for thousands of years. That for me is my foundation, along with other things. But definitely astrology plays a huge part, not just in my red tent circles, but in my day-to-day life.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, I said we stopped it in general because that's where the world, in my opinion, was going. But I think now it's the movement, undergoing movement when really people are waking up, and that's why I suppose
Absolutely
here. Yes,
it's exciting times, and it's very salon times.
So we know you often hold your red tent circles around the time of the new moon.
Yeah.
So why is that timing significant, and what energy does the new moon bring into the circle? So you...
Yeah, I mean, I can reiterate that. I could hold it at full moon. You can hold these type of gatherings at any time. For me personally, it's about being true to we live in cycles. That's us. Nature, we are deeply connected to that. For me, that's the best opportunity to work in a more natural way. That's how I've built my red tents up. I'm not one for doing a lot of social media, because it felt right to slow down, to be present, and to tap into the different times of the moon cycles. So this is why new moon, because it's really encouraging us even more so to go inwards. That's really putting it simply. So that's why I'm holding them at that time. Like I said, you can hold them any time, but for me in particular, it's about tapping into that energy, because that's when I can then go more inwards into my intuition and getting particular wisdom from the moon as well. Absolutely getting downloads, and it's amazing.
It's funny because we think, this generation, especially the young ones, they think the knowledge is on the internet, and they can look up for anything. But actually, how those people, back on the days, how did they manage to build pyramids? How did they manage to survive? How did they manage to know that there was a disaster coming? That's all from the knowledge up there. Yes.
Really, navigating waters.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes.
Prophecies, all these different things.
I've got the last question before we do the check-in. Finally, how do you see red tent circles being integrated into communities on a wider scale? Could this become a regular supportive practice across more towns and villages?
Absolutely. Yeah, interesting question, and one that I am very much looking forward to delving into. So the red tent movement and this sacred circle of coming together is very much a slow burning practice. It's not a quick fix. If you want to summarize it as I'm coming to get fixed, it's not that at all. It's a regular practice, it's a devotional practice, and I'm 4 years along now the line of holding them regularly. It's not about making an income for me. It's about giving women the opportunity to be in a very special sacred space, to come together in sisterhood and build very strong bonds, to be supportive and to learn from others and to give space to others. So with that, I'm now sitting where I sit, and I have been asked to speak and vocalize in a podcast. This has not been an easy thing for me to welcome in, but it's necessary. So where do we find that courage? It's from stepping into places that have sharp edges and that are uncomfortable. So this is one way. That's where I see, because I know that I sit here today and for me, it's important to have integrity, and it's important for me to speak very clearly and honestly and truthfully. I don't have any control of where my voice is landing, if it lands with somebody in a week's time, if it lands with somebody in a month's time through this podcast. So it's really important that I'm carrying myself well. So this is one thing. I'm connecting with people that I may never ever meet. But that doesn't mean, the pebble's been dropped, the ripples, where do they go? And I don't need to know that necessarily. So in the wider sense, I touched upon, I've had the younger women come, they've got a lot out of it, and then they've moved on in their life. What I would love to see, and maybe it's already happening in communities, I sit here and I'm very close to a high school. So we've got 12-year-olds, I think, going into that, up to 16, 17, 18. Okay, so let's just expand and think a little bit outside the box. Again, this may already be happening. Wonderful if it is. School curriculum. Okay, we're going to go into school and we're going to have those young women that are bleeding, because as I said, that's a prerequisite. And we're going to gather in the morning, maybe once a month at the new moon, okay? Because let's keep to that template. If we're going to do it, and it's important that we do it, in a conscious manner. And we're checking in, how are you? And number one, we switch our phones off. And we don't have phones near us, because that's another thing that you can have your phone on silent, but we're there to disconnect from technology and connect with one another. Yeah. So we've got this regular practice happening once a month in high school of the Red Tent Circle, where young women can just be themselves. That would be an amazing thing for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I went to my mum and I said this, I knew there was an excitement there. And it was just dulled down. It wasn't her fault. That's how she handled it. And I have utter, deep respect for that. But that was my experience. Maybe there's 2-3 young women out there that are have this in their lives that they want to facilitate. They don't know about it, but they're not giving that opportunity. So to have a regular practice in a high school would be amazing. Yes. So I've often thought that, it's just across the way. And this is already happening. Red tents and similar women's circles are happening all over the place. I know that because I've brought this medicine to my community, it's happening, and I've spoken to other people, it's happening. So now it's just about building momentum, but doing it in a very authentic pace. And again, we're coming back to that regular practice. It's like a heartbeat. It's always there in communities. So that's how I see it potentially in where I am. But again, it's wherever you are, it can be established. I don't have, I have my home. I make it welcoming, but I don't need fancy things to set up a red tent. You can start with no money in your pocket. if you're just willing to take that step and facilitate that space or attend. You know, it's a minimal. And also I take into account if, you know, sometimes I've had women that can't afford, and I said, right, well, maybe do a barter, but you need that medicine, so I'll do what I can, because I've been in that position where I can't potentially, you know, haven't got the funds to do that. So it's really just anywhere can be set up like this. And it's not just about women that are attending, because I've had, you know, men say, well, what is this? Do you just get together and talk about men? No, we don't. But that's the sort of thing, you know, because obviously maybe they overhear them in a cafe, like, oh, bloody hell. You know, I mean, you might have a moan about who your, you know, partner or boyfriend or whatever, or girlfriend or whatever, but it's not about that. And the effects that it has is that because you're becoming more empowered within yourself, you can then take that going out into the world, like I think I've said earlier, you know, with your friends, with your work colleagues, with your beloved, with your children, you know. So it's not just for women.
Yes.
Because it's a slow burning thing, this is generational. I'm playing my part for future generations to be able to have conversations that are taboo. And also, while I think about it, it's about my past generations as well in my ancestral line. You know, I very much doubt that I know my mum wasn't able to do this. This was just not, you know, there for her to come and sit in circle. Grandmother, the same. Great-grandmother, the same. They might have had conversations, you know, with other women, but not in this capacity. Absolutely not. So I feel very honoured and deep gratitude and very humbled to be able to hold these spaces and speak for other women across the globe as well. If we want to expand out, there are many, many women that aren't able to sit in a safe space, not just in our communities, I absolutely get that, but further afield, that can't speak, that are scared to speak, that are getting, you know, all sorts done to them. So it's really a lot of responsibility. I absolutely understand that. But at the same time, I feel very exhilarated. Like, I generally, apart from if I'm really tired, I'm like, oh my goodness, red tent, I'm really looking forward to this tonight, because it really fills my cup. You know, I'm receiving that medicine. And when we sit in circle, you know, it's a reflection about all of us.
Yes.
You know, and the friendships that I've seen that have come out of this, it's brilliant. I love it. So that is sort of how I see it, but I don't want to hold on to it too tightly. I don't want to suffocate this space. It's there. It's a slow burner. If it needs to take this shape or form as well, because we need, although I'm working with ancient wisdom, it's also, we're in the 21st century, and we need to be able to, you know, meld those two worlds together. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, I absolutely love the idea about the high school, because I think, you know, we need to get to the breaking point when the whole pressure and, you know, impact of the social media and expectations, which are driving those young people to do bad, sometimes mad stuff. Okay, so I think if you gave them the space to connect with themselves and go inwards, they would finally, you know, discover what's actually important. No those posts, you know, posted by others and trying to catch up, trying to be like them. The most important is, if we want to be happy, we need to be yourself. We need to be honest with ourselves, yes? And that's what I think you can give to people.
Yes, and I mean, I said earlier about it's not just about the women that come. It has this ripple effect to other people.
Yes.
So if we're looking at the high schools, we're looking at young men, and how majority are incredibly lost.
Yes.
Like suicide rates.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely.
And again, I don't want to go off at a tangent, but how this relates to that is that if you're having a regular practice for women, that sets the path in motion for men to think, hang on, they're having that space. Can we have similar? Because my goodness, it is needed. It is so needed. And the powerful things that can come and develop out these circles. So you're making space in the high school for the women.
Yes.
Okay, can we have a similar thing for men? Yes, we can.
Yeah.
I know one of my friends has just set up, and I think he's his second men's circle. I've been waiting for this for years.
Yes, I've seen some of them.
I've been waiting for this for years. There's been a few here and there, but not so close. And I was like, should I do that? Should I set up? But it has to come from the man. And then going further forward, another idea I have is, okay, got the women's circle, we've got the men's circle in this community that I'm in. Together.
Yes.
So that's like general. Well, who knows how far in advance, but this has been brewing because I see this the forward vision of what I'm wanting, but I'm like, no, one step at a time, breathe, pace yourself, and this is why it's important it's a slow burner thing, because like anything in life, if it's more integral and embodied within you, you can sustain it longer. You can give it your full attention.
Yes, I agree. And once the women change, that will impact also the men, because then seeing the women changing,
Has
that,
yes, absolutely.
Again, the ripple effect. Yes, so even if they still don't attend the men's circle, they'll be seeing the effect already, because the women would be, more, they'd be happier, honest, there will be nothing hidden, you know what I mean? So even with the relationships.
So I have a tiny story, if I've got space to do that, which connects to this. So going back to when I was saying about the retreat that I went on 2019, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is what I've been waiting for. I have landed that something that feels familiar, that taste is familiar to me. Beautiful. So I went back home and I was with a partner at the time, highly neglectful relationship, and an alcoholic. I was living with an alcoholic. And the conversation we had, because I was like, right, I have to change my life. I can't continue on this path. I have stuff to do in the world. I've got things that I need to share, and I can't stay in this relationship because I was entering perimenopause, and I knew that I had to give myself space and attention and time, and I wasn't giving myself that there. And I sit down in a chair, and he goes, these were his words, "You're like a queen on a throne." Because I'd found my voice, because I'd had that space and that absolutely beautiful holding to be able to do that. And he didn't mean that in the sense of, oh my goodness, you're amazing. It was coming across like, you're telling me what to do. But the point is, I'd found my voice. I'd found my voice. And that's the sort of impact it has. Because then I knew that I can't stay where I am. And he has to live his life and do what he needs to do. It was so empowering, that one conversation, because obviously he'd noticed and he'd then vocalized that of course we are the goddesses. We are all queens. Yes, because we find our voice. So that sort of relates to that, just that story. And there's many stories like that. But, and that was only a 3-day thing.
True. Yes, if we try to adapt to somebody, then we're not ourselves anymore. You see, so to be truly happy, again,
Yes.
you need to stick to your needs and practice them. Not only have them in your head, but also follow them, and that's what makes you happy, in my opinion.
Yeah, and in these uncomfortable places, like I said, with sharp edges of, oh my goodness, I can't do that. Well, what if we try? What if we try?
It's not easy to go through changes in a way
Like
like
the art, no. But
not
if you
comfortable.
can have that supportive network of this sisterhood, that's a really good container for women to go. Oh, I'm okay. I'm going to be all right. I can get through this, and I know that I've got the support out there, and the friendships that it forms, all these different connections. It's such
And I
a big
think it makes also easier to make the decisions.
I mean, you've both attended.
Yeah.
To turn the tables. How do you feel that it's helped you? Because I'm very much about, okay, we can talk about things, we can discuss things till we're blue in the face.
Yeah.
But how do you put those things that you've noticed, which may not sit very well with you, how do you then put those into the practical, sense? How do you put that into your everyday life? Like what's helped you through red tent and coming? Okay, give me one example. Though I'm going into it. The changing sort of positions, interviewing you. But how have you found it?
With me, I think going inwards and asking myself some questions that I haven't asked myself before made me realize who I truly am and what my needs are. And with that, then I can basically change my life to better, because I know what makes me happy. Before I felt like helping others, doing something. I still love helping others, and that's my main aim. But it's like pleasing others. Before, I thought it was making me feel happy, But actually, no. To be happy, I need to be happy within. Okay, I need to know what's good for me, what's not. I need to set the boundaries. And that's what's been changing in my life, since I started attending your written circles. And the most, I think, realizing who actually I am. Yes, and what I need in my life to even change to get better. And it's not an easy process, I have to say, because it's all, usually scary, and the unknown is very oh, what am I going to do? What is going to be like? No, if you follow your heart, everything will be fine, because everything will come to the right place in the right time. That's my opinion. And of course, the mindset as well is very important. And that's what helps me too with my mindset, discovering the insights makes me think clearer of why I'm here, why I've done things, what I've done, and where I'm going with it. Yes, that's how I feel. So again, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. So, well, I've been only once so far, and I felt really safe and comfortable answering those questions you were asking us. And I think I could answer them truthfully and be true to myself. Because when we left, I was actually telling Emila that there was so much more after, when you think about it, that I could have said but I know this, so I know what's the truth. So yeah, that's my answer. Yeah, that I just felt really safe and comfortable.
So can we do the check-in?
Yeah.
For browsing?
Yes, this is something that I usually do first of all when we come and join together in circle. But just to give through the interview, you can now hopefully understand and get to grips with a little bit more about how red tents are. So for myself, I'm day 16 of my cycles. My cycle is changing because I'm in perimenopause. And this is affecting millions of women. I have 2 sisters. They are both perimenopausal, going into menopause. It's 3 of us just in one family. And so I'm day 16. I'm in my summertime. The sort of each moon cycle is how I've learned split into seasons. So you have your winter period, sort of day 0 to 7. It will change for some women if their cycles are longer, shorter. Then you have your spring, and then you have your summer and winter. So I'm feeling very well because I have made space in my life for regular rest practices, regular fun, and enjoying life. And I feel nourished because of this. I feel rested because of this. Having the opportunity to do this. I had work approach me 3 or 4 times about this weekend. Can you do extra work? No, I can't. Having to vocalize 3 or 4 times. Because I knew that if I squeeze an extra shift in, I'm not going to be my best for today. And also, it's my space. So it's about healthy boundaries, maintaining these boundaries. Again, this is the regular practice. You know, I do my cycle check-ins, I keep a diary, so I can then reflect back on things. So that's how I'm feeling, empowered, trust-filled, and feeling very trustful and exhilarated. It's been beautiful to have this conversation. I was asked back in April, and I was like, things were happening back in April, like a lot. This 2025 has been a very turbulent year, certainly for myself. And both of you have been wonderful because you've respected and you've listened. I said, I can't do, I don't have the capacity at the moment. And that was a beautiful, again, a truthful conversation. So that's why I'm feeling really exhilarated, because I know that now is the right time to put my voice together. So that's my check-in.
Okay, that'll be so sweet. Would you like to start, Christina?
Well, I'm in my little stage, so I don't know if that's in the seasons.
Do you know what sort of day?
I know
day
it's
number
2 days before
bleeding. Okay,
so
interesting.
Yeah.
So you're coming into you're in the autumn, but you're dropping into that winter space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been feeling very emotional.
Yeah.
Angry.
Okay.
And I've had some hard discussions about stuff. So, but today I actually feel on the other side of this now. So I think I'm getting better and thinking clearer as well. So yeah.
Can I ask a question? Mm-hmm. Are you making space for your bleed time in your diary?
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll have time to physically rest.
Yes.
This very tricky word, rest.
Yeah. That's actually my 3-day week at work because we're off on Friday. So
I'm in the day 14, so I'm catching up on you. Yes. And I really feel like very energetic today. I feel very happy today. I feel like something, I don't know, amazing is coming. I don't know why. It's been quite a stressful time with setting my business up and all those obstacles with the website, with everything actually I could have probably, but keeping my mind, trying to keep my mind clear and still giving myself the rest, okay, especially with meditation, because that's my pose, trying to do it every day. It's been more difficult recently, but yeah, I still mostly do it every day. So yesterday, for example, I knew I needed it so much, and straight after I was like, okay, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm getting there, and realizing that somebody may have some expectations towards me, towards my business. It doesn't matter because there's so much I can do only. So today I feel like, okay, I've done everything what I could, and now is the waiting time when everything starts unfolding. So I'm at peace actually today, feeling being here, even speaking to you is like, it's such an amazing time, because we're creating something not only for today but also for the future. With our wisdom, I know it will have an impact in the future. There is something in me that I'm 100% sure. So yes, very grateful to be here today. Thank you.
Incredibly welcome, and we are creating the world that we want to be. I woke up this morning and it's a sentence that I've said a few times to myself recently, and it's, I'm creating a life I don't want to escape from.
I'm feeling comfortable in it.
Emma-Fleur, thank you for sharing your wisdom and for holding such a sacred spaces for women to come together. It's been such a beautiful conversation. But we wanted to ask you, if someone wants to connect with you, where they could find you.
Yes. So I know I've said
No.
internet is not the main thing. Now I'm just going to retract on it. But yes, we live in a world where internet plays a really important part. So it's really through, I would say, social media, and that outlet is Facebook. Mm-hmm. So it's about looking me up, Emma-Fleur Groff, and getting in touch that way. If you don't have technology, because there are people that don't want to do that, but maybe they hear this podcast, ask somebody who is on social media to get in touch. I'm becoming more and more aware that I don't want to give out my personal email and phone number.
Sure.
That just feels right for me. So I know it can be a bit restrictive. I don't have a website. As I said, it's been a very slow burner for me. That's really the way that you can get in touch with me. We can have a conversation, or you can ask questions. I'm more than happy to answer those. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow Sacred Highlands on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. And don't forget to share this conversation with someone who might need the medicine of Red Tent Circle. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.